Without doubt, Frank Kasser is one of our worst landlords, a slumlord from hell who gets top dollar for his dilapidated and often leaky rental properties. Hundreds of tenants have lost money to him over the years, and until now he's ignored everything the law has tried to do to keep him in check. Now the courts have finally made a ruling. Jackie Quist reports.
Frank, we're back.
Yeah, really.
What's the Lord of the Slums doing today?
Who could forget foul-mouthed Frank Kasser?
Are you making another tenant's life a misery, are you?
Yeah,
Huh?
meeting prostitute like you.
Oh, that's lovely talk, isn't it? Is that the way you speak to your tenants?
This notorious landlord terrorises tenants, refuses to repay their bonds or fix his decrepit houses. Just ask former tenant Lainey Dixon.
Oh, he's the slumlord. He's the slumlord of Fitzroy. When it rained, the window above the sink would become like the water feature at the Melbourne Art Gallery. The bath didn't actually seal around the wall. Slugs were coming in and mice got in, which was gross.
One-time renter Charlotte Spence claimed she had a narrow escape.
I did almost have an incident where I fell down into the pit of death, but luckily for me, I was saved by the last remnants of strength in the vent.
Occupants of Frank's houses generally leave in disgust, then face a losing battle to reclaim monies owed. To date, Frank owes former tenants more than $32,000 in bonds and compensation. He simply ignores tribunal orders to pay. Now the Victorian government watchdog Consumer Affairs has stepped in, prosecuting Frank for 21 breaches of the Residential Tenancies Act. Frank didn't appear in court but was fined $16,000 plus $2,500 in court costs.
It's a good outcome for the people that he's been ripping off of late, and hopefully it'll get him to change his behaviour.
Something has to. Mark O'Brien heads the Tenants Union of Victoria. He claims complaints about Frank date back 20 years.
I think the difficulty with rogue operators like Mr Kasser is that if this is a fine that only occurs once every 10 or 15 years, then there's still a lot of incentive to do the wrong thing. What we need to ensure is that people like this are regularly prosecuted for all the offences that they commit.
Yeah, I know you're 32,000, so more than that, is it?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, I think you do.
The only thing he has complied with is putting a few rat pellets down for our guests. That's it.
The complaints about Frank haven't stopped, with another 6 tenants now awaiting tribunal judgments. The saga is set to continue unless rogue landlord legislation is introduced.
As things stand in Victoria at the moment, you can still continue to operate as a landlord even if you've committed offences. Our view is that the government should regulate so that you have to be a fit and proper person to run what's essentially sort of communal living. So we think on that test he might fail.
This time, if Frank doesn't pay his $16,000 fine, he could face arrest or even prison. A magistrate could order him to spend a day in jail for every $100 he owes. We'll keep you posted. That was Jackie Quist reporting.